You can win against better offers than yours, even with a lower price and worse terms. And once you do win, then you get a buyer cashback on top of that. And a buyer cashback is both a discount off the price and it saves your cash too. You can leave that right in your bank. There's only 5 major steps to getting you the best deal and beating multiple offers. Number 1, I already mentioned, is the buyer cashback. Number 2 is having a certified master negotiator on your side. Number 3 is getting you into pounce mode so that you can instantly make an offer and have your loan pre-approval already done and an introduction letter that makes you likable and not just a home thief to the seller. Number 4, I'll make sure you're protected. And number 5, we'll look at homes that are not even in the MLS. Why can we do this? It's not just the buyer cashback. It's not just the expert negotiation, and it's not just you in pounce mode. It's the fusion of all 3. So let's start with the buyer cashback. As I mentioned, it's more than a price reduction. It pays your cash expenses so that you don't have to. And so it's both a price reduction and a cash reduction. So you should always get a buyer cashback, always. If your buyer agent is unwilling to give you 50% of the commission, then get a new agent, because the commissions these days are just out of sight and there's plenty of money for you to have a cashback. Now, in order to get a cashback, you've got to win, and you can't win with a poor negotiator. Most buyer agents are the junior newbies of their companies, and few of them are trained to be negotiators, and certainly not experienced master negotiators. And because of this, because of the competition, we can beat buyers offering more cash and a higher price. I can say it because I've done it. In one case, there were 9 offers counting us on a home, and the seller chose us, even though we had a lower price and only 20% down. In fact, the listing agent called up and said, "I am flabbergasted." And I said, "Why in the world are you flabbergasted?" And he said, "Because I've got 9 offers on my desk, including yours. Many of them are all cash, and many of them are more than yours, but the seller wants your offer." Of course, I thought to myself, naturally he wants my offer. I figured out what he really wanted. His daughter was graduating from high school, and he wanted to be left alone to enjoy the celebration and to have time for the farewells and the parties for all his daughter's friends before they left. So our offer said, tell us within pretty broad guidelines when you want to close escrow, and you tell us when you want to vacate, and we're cool with it, whatever you want. And so we won. And it was like a $20,000 span. And then my buyer got $8,000 in cash back too. It pays to have the right negotiator. Now, we do need to get you into pounce mode. We need to get all that you can get from everything that you've got. So the first step is to get you a full loan pre-approval with a desktop underwritten approval to give it to the listing agent to make certain that they know that you're a done deal. Then we need to show them the cash that you need to close. We don't make any mention of my buyer cashback because we don't want that to interfere with the negotiation. Your loan is from a reliable direct lender, and it's fast and easy for you to get that, and the listing agent will accept it in a heartbeat. Then we make a higher deposit. So let's say it's an $800,000 home. 3% is the normal deposit. That's $24,000. Then we will offer $50,000 as a deposit, because no matter what, you're not going to lose any money anyway. But even if you did, you can't lose any more than $24,000 because of the way the contract handles deposits. Next is, if you don't need contingencies, we don't put them in. If you could easily get the amount of loan that you're qualifying for, then we don't put a loan contingency in. We also don't put in a termite contingency, which you'll see in a moment. We will do a termite report, but we do as few contingencies as we can so that we look better to the seller than the other buyers. And of course, my paperwork is professional and easy to follow, and I typically have great rapport with the listing agent. Now, you will have an introduction letter with a photo, and if you have kids, well, that's great too, because that just melts the seller's heart. Because the question we need to answer is, with so many competing buyers, why should you be the one? And part of the answer can be people have warm feelings for their house. Maybe they moved in right after they got married. Maybe they raised their kids there. Who knows? But whatever, it's often more like an adoption than a sale. So many may be qualified, but you need to be likable. And we take care of all of this for you. The other thing we do is we protect you. Termite reports are seldom done anymore because they've taken it out of the realtor contract. Even before, when it was a big deal in the realtor contract, most agents just accepted the seller's agent's report. We never did. We always relied on our own trusted inspector. And as a result, our buyers have saved $2,000, $4,000, up to $9,700. So we're going to do a termite report because they're cheap and they're great protection. We're just not going to say anything until after you're in escrow, so we don't raise any red flags. But we also, if it's an old roof and there's any question, we'll do a roof inspection too, because that's relatively cheap. In one case, when the inspector got up on the roof, there wasn't any roof. There was only threads of fiberglass left, and all the asphalt had washed away, had worn off. There's just too much at stake for you. What's more, we are contract experts, and I know how to remove all of the unimportant contingencies and still protect you against the big dollar things. We know what the contract says, we know what it means, and we know how to make your offer look stronger by letting the seller know that you're not going to nickel and dime them. And last, we don't only look in the MLS. We talk to past clients, we talk to agents who may have listings that they haven't put in to the MLS, so-called pocket listings. We may talk to for sale by owners or sales who just gave up when their listing expired, and more. We'll find you the right home, and we'll keep working until we do. If you want to see what others say about us, just look at Angie's List or Zillow or Yelp. They're all 5-star and straight A's, and there's 40, 50 of them at this point. Here's just a few of them and what they've got to say. That young couple with the dog, they're the ones that were willing to accept an appraisal $40,000 under market because they had FHA and they already knew what the house is worth and it didn't affect their loan at all. And then the couple on the couch right next to him, that's the one who beat 8 other offers with a lower price and a worse loan, and on and on and on. So that's it. There's the 5 things that you need to win. But I've got 2 bonus things for you too. Before I get to that, if this looks good to you, make a note of this phone number, 949-278-1595. But there are 2 more things, 2 bonus tips that I want to share with you. Tip number 1 is never ever get involved with double agents. And double agents are automatic in big companies where one agent is representing the buyer, supposedly, and one agent is representing the seller, supposedly. They're really just broker helpers, and it's the broker who really represents both the buyer and the seller. But what this creates is double agency, and double agency creates double agent handcuffs, where since the broker represents both the buyer and the seller, then neither agent can effectively represent either the buyer or the seller. And worse, the seller can start a lawsuit and sue everybody in the transaction if he's not happy with your agent, because your agent is his agent too. So don't get involved in that. With my company, I'm the only licensed agent, and there aren't any double agents here. And you will not have to agree to have no agent, because I'll be your agent, and every home in the MLS will be safely available to you. And tip number 2 is always have a true to you fiduciary. I promise to be your true to you fiduciary, and I promise to put your interests first before my own interests. And if I ever fail to do so while I'm representing you, you're entitled to a full refund of all of my share of any commission I've earned by representing you. I am 100% on your side. Obviously, this also means I will never be a realtor double agent. So with me, no double agent handcuffs and no double agent lawsuits. And that's the story. That's how you win against multiple buyers in a red-hot seller's market.